What's going on, guys? Stefan here with you, S&E's Garage, and today we're going to fix this car for $2. If you own a Hyundai product from, say, 2011 to 2017, 18, there's a good chance you're familiar with that sound. And today we are going to replace the steering coupler in this 2011 Hyundai Elantra. Let's get started. Alright guys, so the first thing you're going to want to do here is move your seat all the way back, and you're going to want to move your steering wheel all the way down and all the way in, like so. That's going to make it so we can drop the column on the floor without having to pull the steering column out of the car. So what we're going to do now is basically start taking the interior of this car apart. We're going to take this lower panel down, we're going to pull this side panel off, and we are going to pull both the top and bottom covers off of the steering column. Alright guys, I'm going to take this key out so she's not dinging at us. So the first thing we're going to do here, like I said, is pull this side panel off. There's a little flat here for a screwdriver to get under, and you're just going to pop it off like so, and that is going to give us access here to all of our Phillips head screws. So we'll have one here, we'll have one here, that's two, and there's going to be one all the way inside close to the center console. And now we can use our flathead here to pry this panel off of the locks and pull it forward like so. Okay, and that is going to give us access to this metal undershield here. We're going to have to pull the four 10mm bolts out of that. You'll see this little metal shield down there. We're going to go ahead and get that out. We're just going to use an electric impact here. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we have one nut here on the inside by the fuse box that we are going to go ahead and remove and get it out of our way. I like to put all of our hardware in the cup holder. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is remove the steering column covers. Now to do that, you're going to want your key in the ignition so that we can move the steering wheel around. There's going to be one. Let me make sure you can see where I'm at. Yep, there's going to be one here. There's going to be one on the flip side in the same spot. There's going to be one down under here that I cannot see from where I am sitting. Okay, now we can go ahead and pull our column covers off like so. So here's bottom, and the top is actually connected by a little trim piece here that you can either remove or leave in. Just for the sake of this video, we will go ahead and remove it so that we have a little bit more room. That's this guy right here. So now we basically have to come under here and we have to disconnect our whole column harness, get the harness out of the way, and there is one vent here that we also need to pull out that is also held in with a Phillips head. So we'll go ahead, pull this out. We'll pull this vent out of our way as well. So let me off camera get this harness out of here. It's real simple. Anything you see plugged into the harness, into the column, unplug and we'll go from there. All right, guys, I just want to show you, we got the whole harness off of this column here. We disconnected our big power wire here for the MDPS motor. That is off to the side. The rest of our harness is over here. There is one little wire over here, that is this guy right here, that you have to remove a little blue safety clip, a little flathead will pop that off. So now we're ready to drop the column. We have a 12mm here, a 12mm here, and then there is a 14mm through bolt right up here. Let's see if I can get you on it, right there. So we're gonna go ahead and pull that first. Then we're gonna pull these two bolts, and then we're gonna pull the column forward and drop it down. All right, guys, here's our big bolt here. Now we're gonna pull these two 12s there and there. Again, make sure your column's all the way in and all the way down if you had to move it to get your harness out, like we did, and then we're gonna drop it. All right. So number one. Number two. And like I said, let's just try to get some of our stuff out of here. You'll see the column's already starting to drop. We're going to pull it forward and bring it down. And by bringing it down, we're going to be getting access right in here to our MDPS motor. And we're going to take these 1, 2, and 3 back here Allen Torx bits out, and that's going to get us access to the coupler. Alright guys, so we're going to be using a T30 Allen key here, or Torx key, to get these out. Once you break them loose, you can usually walk them out by hand, just like we're doing. And we're going to do the same thing for the other two. Now once we get them out of the way, we're going to go ahead nice and easily just lift our motor up like this, and we're going to pull our old steering coupler out. This one is actually really bad. They usually come right out, but you'll see this is all that's left of it, and it's supposed to look like this. So we're going to go ahead, clean the rest of this rubber out as best we can here, and install our new one. Alright guys, so once you get all that old coupler material out of there, you're going to go ahead and slide your new one in, like so. And then you're going to slide your motor on. You may have to kind of wiggle this motor around a little bit to get it to line up with the coupler. Sometimes they'll go right in. Sometimes you got to work with them a little bit. On the Sonatas, I feel like it's a little bit easier than the Elantras, but just take your time, make sure you're putting it in there straight, and it will go in. Sometimes wiggling the steering column around a little bit helps because it moves. Yep, there you go, just like that. So now we can go ahead and put our 3 bolts back in. Alright guys, so this next part is kind of tricky. If during dropping your column, your steering wheel locked, now would be a good time to put your key in the ignition and unlock it, because you're going to want to be able to move this around. You're basically going to want that little nub right there to slide into that slot. And it takes practice. It's been over a year since I've done one of these, so I might even struggle with this. But I'm going to set you up on the camera, and I'm going to show you how we do it. You basically have to get under the column and almost sort of, excuse me, I'm bleeding, bench press it up there. And then what you need to do is have one of your 12mm nuts ready to slide the threads on and hold it in place. Alright, so like I said, we're going to come up here, like so, and attempt to line this all up. This is going to be by far the most difficult part of the job. Alright, and we're in. So now we can get our other 12mm, thread that in, leave it loose, and now we have to go ahead and get this guy started up under the column. Now I remember why I'm not at the dealer anymore. Alright, just like that. We got that bottom one in. We are going to go ahead and snug it up. Like so. Now we're going to go ahead and get our electric impact. Zip these two up. Now we can get our harness and start reconnecting everything. This is tricky. It's funny when you haven't done something for a year, you kind of remember how to do it, and you kind of don't, but it's coming back to me. So we're just going ahead and plugging in everything that we unplugged. Here is our ignition switch, our MDPS, that's plugged in. We do need to get our little blue clip that we removed earlier. Slide that back in so that does not come unplugged. And we need to plug in our multifunction switch for the wipers. Like so. We can come up here and plug in our lock cylinder. And now what I like to do before I finish putting this together, I'll make sure everything's plugged in and I'll start the car. Now the only noise that we hear is the noise from our loose tie rod ends. The noise from the coupler is gone. So now we can go ahead, slap the rest of this back together. We're going to put our vent back in, then we're going to do our metal thing, and then the rest of the plastics. Alright guys, just like that, you went ahead and replaced the steering coupler on your MDUD Elantra, which should be a 2011 all the way up to 2016. So if this video helped you, please like, share, and subscribe. I'm bleeding a little bit. I'm going to go tend to my wounds, and we'll see you next time.